Hey everyone, and welcome. If you're prepping for the SCMP exam, you know performance evaluation questions are pretty much guaranteed. So today, we're going to master one of the most important tools in your arsenal, the balanced scorecard. Let's dive in and break down exactly how to use it to nail those questions and score maximum marks. So let's kick things off with a big question. Can a company that's making a profit, a company that looks good on paper, actually be failing? It sounds a little crazy, right? But the answer is a huge yes. See, just looking at financial numbers is like trying to drive a car by only looking in the rearview mirror. It tells you where you've been, for sure, but it gives you zero clue about the cliff that's right in front of you. And that, right there, is the exact problem the balanced scorecard was invented to solve. Here's our game plan for this explainer. First, we'll get a handle on what a scorecard for success actually is. Then, we're going to put a company called Standard Telecom on trial, applying this framework to a real case study. After that, we'll deliver our final performance verdict, and we'll wrap it all up with a quick formula flash recap to make sure all the key stuff really sticks for your exam. Okay, first things first. Before we can start analyzing our case study, we really need to understand the core logic of the balanced scorecard. What is this thing really, and why is it so incredibly important for strategic management? Let's get into it. So at its heart, the balanced scorecard, or BSC for short, is all about getting the complete picture. It's not just about profit. It forces a company to look at a mix of different measures. Some are financial, some are non-financial. It looks at internal things like how well their processes are working and external things like what their customers think. It's all about connecting what you do today with where you want to be tomorrow. The big idea is simple. You can't have lasting success by only being good at one part of the business. The BSE is built on four main pillars, or what we call perspectives. Think of them like the four legs of a table. You've got the financial perspective. How do our shareholders see us? Then there's the customer perspective. How do our customers see us? Third is internal business. What things do we absolutely have to be amazing at? And finally, learning and growth. How can we keep getting better and innovating? If any one of these legs is wobbly, the whole table, the company's entire strategy, is at risk of collapsing. All right, enough theory. For the SCMPE exam, it's all about application. This is where the rubber meets the road. So let's put on our analyst hats and apply this framework to our case study, a company called Standard Telecom. This is where these concepts get real. So here's the file on Standard Telecom. This little table has everything we need to pass judgment. We've got 5 key metrics, showing where they were in the base year, where they are now in the current year, and most importantly, the target they set for themselves. Let's start breaking these down one perspective at a time. Kicking things off with the financial perspective. The first metric is their operating ratio. The goal was to get more efficient and reduce this number down to 50%. But look what actually happened. It didn't go down, it went up from 54% to 60%. That, my friends, is a huge red flag. It means their costs are growing way faster than their revenue. They are literally moving in the exact opposite direction of their goal. Not a good start. Okay, the second financial metric is average revenue per user. Now, there's a little bit of good news here. It went up from 210 rupees to 225. I mean, progress is progress, right? But it's still way short of their ambitious 250 rupee target. So yeah, they're making a bit more money from each customer, but it's not nearly enough to make up for those out-of-control costs we just saw. So what's the big takeaway for your exam? Don't just spit back the numbers. You have to give a recommendation. The critical comment here, the one that gets you marks, is this. The company has a serious expense problem. It needs to take immediate action to get its operating costs under control. That's the analysis they're looking for. Let's switch gears to the customer perspective. The key thing they were tracking was unresolved consumer complaints. Their target was a 20% reduction. To see if they hit that, we've got to run the numbers. So here's the formula we're going to use. The percentage change is simply the current year's complaints minus the base year's. You divide that by the base year's number, and then multiply the whole thing by 100. Now, we just need to plug in the numbers from our case file. We're going to take the current unresolved complaints, that's 27,500, and the base number, which was 25,000. It's a really straightforward plug and play into the formula we just saw. And the result of that calculation is a 10% increase in unresolved complaints. Wow, this is a total disaster from a customer point of view. Let's be crystal clear. Their goal was a 20% reduction. Not only did they miss that target,
They went speeding off in completely the wrong direction.
And this brings us to another one of those critical comments. That 10% increase isn't just a number on a spreadsheet, it represents thousands of real, unhappy customers. This is hard evidence that customer dissatisfaction is on the rise, which is absolute poison for a company's reputation. It's basically rolling out the red carpet for competitors to come in and steal their business. All right, let's move on to the internal business perspective. And hey, finally, some genuinely good news. The company set a goal to open 250 customer relationship centers. Well, guess what? They ended the year with 280. They didn't just meet their target, they absolutely smashed it. And here is where we have to connect the dots. Even though complaints are up, this investment shows that the company knows it has a problem and it's building the infrastructure to try and fix it. This is a really important strategic move. It shows they're serious about dealing with their customer satisfaction issues, which is going to be crucial for them down the road. And finally, let's look at that foundational perspective, learning and growth. The metric here is employee training. The company wanted to train at least 15% of its people, but as you can see, they only managed to train 10%. They missed their target by a full third. So here's the bottom line. Learning and growth is the engine that drives all the other perspectives. Think about it. Who has to deal with all those angry customers? The undertrained staff. By cutting corners on training, they are directly making the problem we saw in the customer perspective even worse. This isn't just a missed target. It's a classic case of a short-term saving causing long-term strategic damage. Okay, we've dissected each of the four perspectives. We've seen one clear win, but, well, a whole lot of bad news. So now it's time to put all the pieces together, step back, and deliver our final verdict on Standard Telecom's overall performance. This right here is the true power of the balanced scorecard. Looking at this final summary, the verdict is just undeniable. Yes, they absolutely crushed their goal in the internal business perspective, which is great. But the company failed on 3 out of the other 4 fronts. Their financials are weak, they're making their customers angry, and they're neglecting their own employees. This is the profile of a company that is just not on a path to sustainable long-term success. Before we wrap this up, let's do a quick high-energy recap to really burn that key calculation into your brain for exam day. You ready? It's time for the formula flash. Here it is, one last time. The percentage change in unresolved complaints is, you take the current year minus the base year, divide all of that by the base year, and then multiply by 100. Make sure you've got this one locked down. And we'll end on this thought. The scorecard has done its job. It's shined a light on the truth of the company's performance. But the real work, the real strategy, that starts now. So I'll leave you with this final question. If you were the CEO of Standard Telecom, what would be your very first move to get this company back on track for true, balanced success? Thanks for joining me.